Hey, what's up? This is Phil Ebner with videoschoolonline.com, bringing you another cool tutorial in After Effects. We're going to be doing a cool clean lower thirds, another one that was found on in Envato on videohive.net. So this one is actually requested by Michael Humphreys, who saw another of my tutorials on YouTube. So thank you, Michael, for requesting this. I'm happy to show you how to create this lower third rather than have you pay this $8. And so I'm just gonna run through this, how it looks, and we're gonna recreate it in a minute. But basically it's the same idea for all of these. You have these like 4 boxes kind of flying up into the screen, and then they have some text on it. And what we're going to be doing is this first one, and then the rest of them you can kind of figure out yourself, I think, with the technique that we do with this one. And this is a great follow-up project for those of you who are taking my advanced After Effects layer course. So if I just launched this in June of 2014, if you're just recently watching this, this is a great course for those of you who know a little bit about After Effects but want to take it to the next level. So check out videoschoolonline.com to enroll and really bring your skills, After Effects skills, and take it to the next level. So let's just watch this one more time, see it pop up, and then this box with Motion Designer at Envato pops down, and then above it, it pops up from behind. Okay, let's get straight into it. So I'm gonna open up my After Effects, and then I'm going to add a new comp, 1920 by 1080, that's good, 10 seconds, that's fine. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is create a new rectangle. Okay, so I'm just going to set my fill to be something like a grayish color, not completely white, not pure white. I'm just gonna create this rectangle, something like this. I'm just going to set this in the corner. I'm just going to use my move anchor point script to the center. So you can just download this move anchor point script by searching for move anchor point script on Google. Okay, so then I'm going to add a little bit of motion to this rectangle. So underneath my shape layer, I'm just gonna call this block, block 1. I'm going to go under rectangle path and then set a couple keyframes. So one is I want to set a keyframe for size and position. So this is going to be my final size and position. So I'm going to put this around 1 second. Okay? And then I'm going to, whoops, don't want to do that yet. I want to go backwards, so around 0 frames. And then I'm going to stretch this out a little bit and move it down completely. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, I wasn't actually stretching out these properties. I was stretching out the entire layers properties. So I want to do that under here. So under size and position, I'm going to stretch out and move down. So let's see what this looks like. Boop. So now we have this shape kind of moving up, and it goes in this spot. So it's a little bit slower than I need, and the speed isn't right. So I'm going to ease these keyframes. So press function F9 or just F9 on your keyboard, and then just make it a little bit faster. And then I'm going to go into these keyframes, press the graph editor. Make sure that you have your edit speed graph up. And then I'm just going to slow into this motion. So it's going to go fast and slow down. And then I might have to, I want to go out of the graph editor and extend this now. So something like this. So let's look back at our animation. So yeah, it's actually pretty slow how that kind of goes in there. So let's see, make it even a little bit slower, I guess. Something like that. And I think it actually moves up even higher in the screen. It doesn't really matter, you can move it up however high you want. and something like this. Okay, so it might not match exactly, but you know, you get the idea. You can play around with this. Okay, so then I'm going to name this 1, rectangle 1. Then I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm actually going to put it underneath the 1. Then I'm going to go under fill and change the color. Say we want something with a little bit of blue in it, but still grayish. Then I'm going to duplicate this again, one more time, put it underneath. And it doesn't really matter if I'm putting it underneath, I just like keeping the numbers in order. And I'm gonna make this even darker. Okay. And then one more time, put it underneath, duplicating. I'm duplicating by pressing Command D on my keyboard. Change the fill. I'll change this one back to something lighter. Something like that. Okay? Then I'm going to click on my shape and press U to bring up all the keyframes. And so the one on top I want to come up last. So I know these first 2 keyframes for size and position are going to be my top layer. Okay? And so then what I'm going to do is, and it looks like it's still on the screen right here. So I'm just going to go to this keyframe at 0 frames, and then in position, let's see if I can do this all in one. I'm just going to move down. Yeah, with it all selected, move it down, move this position down a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to take all the top 3 layers, the top 3 shapes, and just nudge it over a few frames. So I'm pressing Option or Alt and the right arrow on your keyboard. Just a few frames. Then take the top 2, do the same, and the top layer and do the same. Okay, so you see where we're going with this. So I'm just going to make it a little bit slower. Okay, see, now that looks a lot better. That looks a lot more like this. Okay, so in here it looks like they're even spread out a little bit more. So let's see if we spread these out a little bit more. Whoops. Something like that is pretty much exactly what they're doing. Okay, so now we have to add our text to this last sort of box. So what we can do is just go to this final frame where it stops its motion and add some text. So I'll just say Phil Ebner, change the color to something like maybe like a dark gray, not completely black, and just put this in here in this box. Alright, so the one thing about using motion in this in each individual shape layer is that I can't parent my text layer to this motion. Typically, if I added motion to a layer, I would just parent my text to that layer and have it move. If you don't understand that, sorry, but I'll explain it in another lesson. I don't want to take up too much time to explain it here. But what I can do is just add keyframes to this text to create that same motion. So I'm just going to, with my text layer selected, press P to bring up position, set a keyframe, and then go, and when this top layer is almost off the screen, just move this down below the screen. So something like this. Now the timing is going to be completely off, so we're going to have to try to match the graph editor of the shape layers with the graph editor of the text layer. So I'm going to easy ease these. Okay, and then I'm just going to go into the graph editor and slow it down at the end. Okay, so make it a little bit faster at the start. So something like that, so it matches. So that's pretty good. And I actually like that a lot. I think in this video it kind of just stays at the top the whole time. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good though here. There's lots of different ways to actually create this motion graphic. I use shape layers, but you could use individual, or I created 4 shapes within this layer. You could actually do individual ones. But okay, so now we have that text. And then let's see what happens. The design by text kind of pops up at the top. So let's just add that. So I'm just going to, add my website in a light text. Okay, something like that. Now this is going to go over my text right here, right? And this is going to go behind this block layer. And so right about at the end, it's going to end up right there. So I'm going to press P to bring it position, set a keyframe, and then go back, and about here, move it underneath. And then just with this layer selected, I'm just going to press Option, left bracket, and that cuts off the rest of this layer because we don't want it on the screen. See, if it was on the screen before these shapes moved up, you would see it. We don't want that. So I just cut that to that point. And then I'm just going to easy ease this to make the motion a little more interesting. Use the graph editor and just kind of slow it into the final spot. Okay, so we're getting there, pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to add another block with text. So let's just look at this. So this block pretty much matches up with the left side of this block. So I'm just going to go in here. Okay, and create another shape. So with no layer selected, I'm just going to create a new shape, and I'm going to make it a different color. Maybe I'll make it, actually maybe I'll make it sort of a dark blue to complement the other blocks that we had flying up. Okay, so just make this block right here, something like that, and then I'm just going to nudge it over to make sure that it's lined up perfectly. Okay, so then I'm going to add my text to this. So just create new text. I'll just say online instructor. Okay, move this up. Try to make all of these aligned. But if I move this video school online text, I'm going to have to do it make sure that these keyframes also move. So I'm just going to nudge it to the left with both keyframes selected. Okay, with online instructor, I'm just going to make this text a little bit smaller. Align it to the left. Okay, so now this is what I was talking about before, parenting these different layers. So now I can actually rename this to block 2, and I can parent online instructor to block 2. So using this little twirly thing right here, just drag it and drop it on block 2. So now whenever I move block 2, as you can see, the text sticks with it. Okay, so now I'm going to put both of these also underneath, and then I'm going to add a little bit of motion to this block. So this is my final position, so I'm just going to press P, set a keyframe, go back about half a second, and move it up. Okay, actually I might do this after the final motion of this text comes to rest. Okay, so you can see barely that this blue is showing, so I'm just going to move it up a little bit. So it's out of view, and then it comes into view. And it comes into view and it goes down a little bit further. Something like that. Easy ease these keyframes, go into the graph editor, slow down the animation at the end. And okay, yeah, see now you see it before. I'm just gonna cut both of these layers to right about here where you don't see it anymore. So I can just select them both, Option, left bracket, and maybe make that animation a little bit earlier. Something like that. It's looking pretty good. So let me just zoom out. And of course you can before, what I would probably do is make sure that all of these blocks are the right size according to your text. So I probably should have laid everything out beforehand, with the text and the blocks, just so that they're the right sizes. But you get the idea. See, now you can just, if you want to duplicate this, you can just duplicate this comp and then go into the comp and change the text to whatever you want, etc., etc. Okay, so let's just watch it one more time. Okay, you see that? And let's go in here and see what they did. Okay, I think it's a pretty darn good match. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, send me a message, shoot me up on Video School Online, hit me up on videoschoolonline.com. Don't shoot me up there. And if you have any more requests, if you see any lower thirds on videohive.net or wherever that you want me to go through, please let me know, and I will try to accomplish that for you so that you don't have to waste any money purchasing stock lower thirds when you could make them yourself like this. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.